this straight. You take your only child skiing every year, but the moment he hits 28, you say, sorry, mate, we're going on our own. So come on, what have you got to say for yourselves?
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're looking at impersonations of celebrities which haven't stood the test of time.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
She's a peregrine falcon. I bought her from a man in Huddersfield who's got a dog with one leg. She's beautiful, I tell you.
Number 10. Hugh Dennis as Jimmy Savile.
You've heard of New Age travellers, haven't you?
We have, yes.
I'm an Old Age traveller.
Dennis became one of Britain's most beloved comedians, appearing on both Mock the Week and Outnumbered.
Dad!
Fans will be well aware of his Velociraptor impression, but less are familiar with his Savile impersonation. Back in the 2000s, it was a fairly common joke on Mock the Week. The impression was a silly voice, then rambling on about Shawaddy Waddy.
Do you like the music of Shawaddy Waddy?
Thankfully, Dennis stopped the joke after Savile's seedy activities became public knowledge. At least it's not as bad as the time Savile himself appeared on Have I Got News For You, where he kept making creepy jokes, hinting at his darker side.
You used to be a wrestler, didn't you? Is that right?
I still am.
Oh, yeah.
I'm feared in every girls' school in this country.
Number 9. Thatcher on Spitting Image.
What's the opposite of unanimous?
Tell him, Leon.
Animus?
Wrong! The opposite of unanimous is fired!
Way back in the 1980s, Spitting Image was one of Britain's most popular series, with 15 million viewers at its peak. It was revived in 2020 and promptly cancelled in 2022. One of their most famous caricatures was of Margaret Thatcher, Britain's most polarising leader.
The best value has got to be Falklands lamb. Only £1,435,000 a pound. Delicious.
In the south, she's remembered as the Iron Lady. In the north, the Milk Snatcher. Despite overwhelming Thatcher controversies, Spitting Image decided to joke about her dressing and behaving like a man. It feels like they have little understanding of her policies, or simply chose not to address them.
Maybe a cretinous buffoon, but it's just the sort of tiny, willy, drooling vegetable this country needs in opposition.
The 2020 revival has aged just as poorly. For instance, they poked fun at Keir Starmer's chances of becoming Prime Minister, and now that's his job.
But we fight for the same cause. Perhaps the centre and the left can join forces.
And stop internal fighting? I'd never go viral again, Doc. Right.
Number 8. Rory Bremner as Tony Blair.
It's not about the title and the trappings and the car. It's nice though, isn't it?
Blair was Prime Minister from 1997 to 2007, winning 3 elections, then eventually resigning when his approval ratings tanked. One of the major reasons he became so unpopular was his involvement in the 2003 Iraq War. Now, this is the main thing he's remembered for. During his rule, comedian Rory Bremner frequently impersonated Blair. They were fairly light-hearted sketches, softening the image of Blair and therefore aging terribly.
But back to my speech. My fellow Americans.
Bremner captures his mannerisms, voice and rhetoric perfectly, but in hindsight, it feels like it's letting Blair off the hook a bit. Later political satirists, like Harry Enfield and Paul Whitehouse, would take a much harsher approach.
You put chocolate on my grandad latte.
Look, guys, I'm sorry, I didn't get you what you ordered. It's my first day, and it's unacceptable. I'll go back. I'll go back to the shop again and again until I get the damn thing right.
Number 7. Kate and Pippa Middleton in The Windsors.
Hello, who's this? Oh, Pippa, this is Meghan.
Meghan Markle. You know me from Suits?
No, the Mail Online.
In 2016, The Windsors began on Channel 4. It's a sitcom parodying the royal family, featuring highly exaggerated versions of the royal family. 2 of the most offensive portrayals are of Kate and Pippa Middleton. For some reason, they decided to make them both gypsies.
It gives me great pleasure, as patron of Wimbledon, to present you, Andy Murray, with the All England Cup, which is made entirely of gold. Ah!
given the pair Romany heritage is part of a gag about her being too common for the family. It's deeply offensive though, especially when Pippa places a curse on Kate. It reinforces negative stereotypes about Romany people, and additionally, neither of the actors are ethnically Romany. Also, the Middletons' background is a long way away from being working class.
But of course, we accept your apology, and we look forward to renewing our friendship.
Number 6. David Walliams as Jeremy Kyle.
So, Gideon, tell us your heartbreaking story, and if you could cry, we'd love it.
For almost 15 years, Jeremy Kyle instigated drama between the working class, all for the sake of daytime television. One of its core elements was using a lie detector to shame his guests, despite it being scientifically unproven to detect lies.
Serial liar goes into the Jeremy Kyle lie detector and gets called a liar, and my test's wrong, yeah?
I swear to God, I'll swear on anything.
Eventually, a guest named Steve Diamond was brutally shamed for failing the lie detector tests. Diamond was heartbroken, and not long after, he ended his life. This makes David Walliams' 2016 impression of Kyle quite unsettling to watch now. While it wasn't particularly offensive, it's a relic of a time when mocking the vulnerable on TV was widely accepted, making it challenging to watch in the 2020s.
What are you crying for, you pathetic loser? You're 28 years old!
Number 5. Jarvis Cocker as Rolf Harris.
2 little boys had 2 little toys, each had a wooden horse.
As lead singer of Pulp, Cocker was an icon of 90s Britpop. Way back in 1995, he appeared in Stars in Their Eyes, a television contest where people impersonate idols. Cocker unfortunately chose to dress up as Rolf Harris.
Then came her voice he knew. Can you guess who it is yet? Did you think I would leave you dying?
At the time, Harris was an A-list celebrity in the UK. This lasted until just after Jimmy Savile's death, when it came out that Harris was equally vile. In 2014, Harris was sentenced to prison and died disgraced in 2023. So even though Cocker was unaware of his vile behaviour, the impression has aged like milk.
But I think it's that I remember when we were 2 little boys.
Number 4. Jim Howick as Greg Wallace.
This competition is going to be war!
No offence to anyone who's been in an actual war.
Horrible Histories is one of the century's finest children's TV shows so far. The original cast, also known as the Them There Collective, are all now giants of British comedy. Jim Howick is one of their most iconic members, also known as Gerard in Peep Show. One sketch parodied MasterChef, with Howick impersonating Greg Wallace. At the time, it was hilarious, especially when he's creepy towards a World War II housewife.
So, this is Rhino, this is Tiger, and this is Gorilla.
Mock Rhino? What'd you make that out of? Acorns and dog's mess?
As most of our viewers will be aware, Wallace has been accused of sexual harassment, making public opinion of him extremely negative. Now, in hindsight, it feels a bit too uncomfortable for children's TV.
Well, I have got a sweet tooth. Oh.
Number 3. Jackie Chan on Heads.
Today, I face the extreme and the potentially lethal challenge of...
CBBC is a peculiar channel choice for political satire. The target audience is children, who are unlikely to understand a lot of commentary. Still, Heads was relatively popular. It includes an abundance of awfully aged impressions, parodying celebrities not appropriate for children's TV, like Russell Brand and Johnny Depp.
But I want Pirates of the Caribbean, I don't want Kindergarten Cop.
Out of all their impressions, Jackie Chan has aged horrifically. He stars in his show, Jackie Chan, where he does hilariously simple acts with over-the-top kung fu.
What? Light switch, there, her finger. You put finger on light, pull, switch, on, light, on.
It's absurdly racist, with a particularly abhorrent Asian accent. This is problematic because it desensitizes children to harmful stereotypes. On top of this, they'll probably copy it, leading to racism in schools.
Jackie Ken!
Number 2. Lee Francis as Craig David.
Monday morning, I woke up to find I'd had my recurring dream again.
You see, what happens is, I dream that I'm going to bog, but I don't actually get up and go.
By today's standards, Bo Selector pushes the limits of being crass. In the 2000s, it was relatively popular, with sketches featuring Lee Francis in unsettling celebrity masks.
I'm Marilyn Manson, and welcome to my crib.
The most offensive was his Craig David impression. It staged badly, but to anyone aware of how harmful blackface is, it was abysmal at the time. Admittedly, this was an era when blackface was painfully common in British comedy, as revealed by shows like Little Britain, which the creators have since apologised for. David was understandably offended by Francis's portrayal, which he said was normalising racism and bullying. Francis apologised in 2020, but David didn't feel this was genuine, with the show's fans responding by insisting the show was funny regardless of the racism.
I've come to end of me tether. I'm pig sick of piss in bed, so I've decided to come to doctors and get me problem sorted out.
Number 1. Elijah Wood as Jimmy Savile. Wood is most famous for playing Frodo Baggins, alongside numerous other iconic roles, like the Guy in Spy Kids 3D. Back in 2008, he appeared on The Friday Night Project, and for some reason dressed up like Jimmy Savile. This was 4 years before his death, when the public had a largely positive opinion of him.
Out now, jingle jangle. See you at the marathon on Sunday.
This is why the audience finds it hilarious, but if it was repeated today, there'd be nothing but boos. Surprisingly, it might be the most controversial thing in Wood's career, yet at the time, no one would have batted an eye.
Jingle jangle.
Are there any particularly cursed impersonations we forgot to mention? Let us know in the comments.
G.K. Rowling. You arrived before me with all the tedious dreariness of an English summer.
Better an English summer than a freezing Scottish winter, you horrible cow.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.